Hey everybody. So it is raining outside today here in Florida. So I'm spending the day today inside. And I'm feeling a little creative today. I'm feeling like I need to create something. Now, some of you may know what Drawloween is. Basically for the entire month of October, you're given a prompt each day to draw something different with kind of a theme. And today's October 4th, so I am 3 days late on getting on board with this. I've kind of done it in the past, but I don't know what happened to all my drawings from all that. They're in storage somewhere from the move. But I was sitting this morning having my coffee and continuing my binge of a YouTube channel. Right now is my absolute favorite YouTube channel, Struthless. Absolutely awesome for creative types. Just an all-around fun creator and artist. And anyway, I love him. I've been binging all his videos. But today I jumped on the Drawloween thing because I don't think I've mentioned it before, but for like 30 some odd years, Halloween was like the number one thing for me. Like it was a year-long obsession. Some years it was pretty much a way of life. Like I thought about it all the time. I created for it all the time. And when I say created, I made my own props. Like I didn't buy big store-bought props. I made my own. My main medium was paper mache over PVC skeletons. And yeah, it was, you know, it was a lot of fun. If you've never heard of monster mud or duct tape dummies, those are amazing methods to make large props for Halloween or for any holiday. If you're like gung-ho about, you know, any holiday and you want to decorate, especially for like outside or for parties, these methods could apply to any of that. But that's beside the point. You know, I made my own tombstones. I was, you know, really big into atmosphere for my haunt, which is basically my house in my front yard. I had a big party every single year, except for a couple of years toward the end because money and time constraints kept me from doing it. But it was a lot of fun. That was my passion. Like everything I did for months out of the year was geared toward that, toward Halloween and making, you know, my setup as awesome as it could be for the kids in the neighborhood and different from anybody else in the neighborhood, because everybody, you know, I lived in a really nice gated community and everybody had, you know, those cutesy blow up stuff and, you know, just all that stuff you buy at Home Depot or, you know, whatever. And I didn't have any of that. I made my own cemetery fence out of PVC and furring strips. I made my own tombstones out of that pink insulated board, and also the 2-inch thick styrofoam board that you can get at like Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. I made, you know, a couple of monster mud props, which is basically a 5-to-1 ratio of outdoor latex paint and joint compound, and just all kinds of stuff. You know, we used spray foam a lot. We used joint compound a lot. Just all kind of fun stuff. Chicken wire, burlap. For spider webs, we even used maize. For spider webs, we used beef netting, like what beef would come wrapped in. Yeah, that was different but fun and super easy to make. Really cool webs, big webs. They didn't look that great during the day, but man, at night with good lighting, woo, yes, they were awesome. But anyway, so I did a lot of Halloween. My creativity pretty much revolved around Halloween stuff. I gave away all of my Halloween props, my big ones that I made, and a lot of the smaller stuff too, skeletons and stuff like that I did buy, but I gave away almost all of my Halloween stuff to a friend of mine that is part of my Florida Haunters group, which that in itself is another story. The Florida Haunters, that's a group that I started a long time ago, for like-minded people to gather and make stuff and talk and everything. There was a forum and a website and all that stuff. Anyway, that's all beside the point. There are a lot of us out there. There's a whole giant worldwide community of Halloween people. We're called Haunters. So I've kind of been missing that a little bit. I've been watching all the videos from my friends all over the country and all over the world, posting their Halloween stuff, posting, you know, all their Halloween prep, their haunt prep and everything. And, you know, it kind of made me feel a little bit sad, not gonna lie, and missing my stuff, which I got invited to my friend's party, the one who I gave all my stuff to. You know, she invites me to her parties, and she lives like an hour away or so, so it's not inconceivable that I could go. But yeah, I'm just kind of missing my stuff. Anyway, so that's what had me thinking about Halloween, and then I saw, you know, the Drawloween thing on my Instagram, and I decided that I was gonna jump on it. Well, I used to be able to draw. I did. I was really good at it. I mean, I was, you know, I took art classes and stuff like that in junior high and high school. All of us in my family are pretty artistic. My mom, my two sisters, all three of my kids, especially my girls, they're incredibly artistic. Like, they're very talented. My talent is more in mixed mediums and not necessarily drawing anymore, because I was just, you know, doodling around. And I'm quite sad at what I doodled. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of sad. It makes me almost embarrassed, but I'm gonna share it anyway. I did share it to my Facebook, but what I shared first to get the attention was I did sketch these out. Obviously I'm not gonna submit these or tag Drawloween in any of these things because they're just so absolutely horrible, and I'm just not gonna get laughed at like that. I got thick skin, but I am not gonna get laughed at like that. Anyway, so the first day, day one, the prompt is heads up. This is what I came up with. We got the headless horseman up here missing his head. We got the witch and the skeleton, and then Frankenstein's monster and a werewolf, and they're playing volleyball with a headless horseman's head. Yeah, heads up. Anyway, I thought the concept was kind of cute. It would make a really cute. What I ended up coming up with, I actually was like, you know what? I'm gonna plug this into ChatGTP and tweak it a bit and see what it comes up with. And when I did, this is what I got. So yeah, I mean, I'm just using ChatGTP for fun, not for not to make money off of it or anything, or anything like that. I'm just using it for fun for me. And I even used it to come up with like a vision board for my house, and plugging in the pictures of the before, and then creating the look that I want to achieve once I get things rolling and start getting it going, what I actually want it to look like. And it's been incredibly helpful for me. And also it's given me kind of that push to get out of my head so much and get back to thinking about the vision and what it is that I want for this house. But anyway, so we're back to this. So I did that, and the other version was absolutely great. The AI version was absolutely great. And then day 2 is witching on a star. Now, I did go back, I got bored a little while ago. I did go back and put color to this with some color pencils. It's really kind of sad, and it kind of messed up the sketch, even though the sketch was not good to begin with. I swear to y'all, I could draw. I used to be able to draw. I used to be very artistic, and I guess if you don't use it, you lose it, because apparently I lost it. But witching on a star. I've got this little witch. I don't know if y'all can see it good because of the glare. I've got this little witch. She's burning some sage on a pentagram on the ground. Lit with the 5 candles in the moonlight. Yeah, but I also put that one in the ChatGTP. I swear I feel like I keep saying that wrong. ChatGPT? I swear I keep saying GTP. Anyway, so yeah, I put that in, and then this is what I got. Okay, so that one turned out a little bit like darker in color and everything. Not as good, and it gave her glasses, which I didn't. She doesn't have glasses here, but I left it anyway because every time I try to change anything on it, it changes way too much or not even the right thing. So I just left it the way it was. But I think that turned out kind of cute. And then we come to day 3. Day 3 is creature teacher. This is what we got. I immediately thought of Frankenstein's monster teaching anatomy, because who better? Like, he's made up of body parts. Who better to teach about the body parts than the Frankenstein's monster? So he's up there. He's actually writing anatomy up on the chalkboard. On his desk, he's got a little rotting apple with a worm sticking out of it. And then we've got a werewolf over here and a mummy over here with a canopic jar on his desk. Elementary, isn't it? Like, I swear this looks like a kindergartner drew it. It really looks like a kindergartner drew it. So, yeah, that's that. But then I plugged that one into ChatGPT, and it turned out really good. Not what I really expected for it to do. It did change it quite a bit, but I still liked it. Like, these would be absolutely great to put on like Happy Halloween, on like Happy Halloween like greeting cards or something. They turned out really cute. They're on the AI version, not mine. Now, I know a lot of people hate AI driven art. I know that people hate AI driven art. I am one of those people that hates AI driven art. But I mean, the only time I really hate it is like in like video art, like art that to make money. Now, as far as like art for like logos and stuff like that, I think it's great. It's a great tool to make stuff with, but like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of, I'm just not a fan of looking at like AI generated art. But I'm gonna tell you what, making it for yourself is really fun because it really helps you bring to life what's in your head if you can't make it happen on the paper, because as you can see, I cannot make it happen on the paper. I don't know what happened. I don't even know what I'm doing in my life. My creativity has disappeared. But that being said, I did get up into the upstairs storage bedroom, and I got a bunch of stuff out of my boxes from my old office slash workspace for my other house, and I pulled out, you know, a lot of my art supplies, my sketchbook and stuff like that. So I was thinking maybe I might be a little bit creative this weekend and actually do something that brings me joy. But also, you know, I'm wondering, why is it that when you go for a while without doing something like drawing, like I used to draw all the time, I was really good at it, but it's been a lot of years since I've done that, and mainly because I had been focusing a lot of my energies on, you know, when I wasn't working, I was focusing a lot of my energies on making jewelry, because I also do make jewelry. And pick a hobby, because I have many. I was into candy making for a while. I actually, not too long ago, a couple of months ago, bought stuff to learn how to make soap. Because, you know, I don't have enough irons in the fire. I need to throw more irons in the fire. Anyway, so and for, you know, the longest, you know, the better part of 3 decades, I spent most of my time making things with the paper mache, just all kinds of things. I'll post them up here and there in the video. But yeah, I was a fiend making things. I made some really, really good stuff, and, you know, have my own website. And if you're curious about that, you can go to my website. I still have it, even though I moved and I gave away all my stuff. I do still have like tutorials and stuff like that. Not necessarily tutorials, but kind of that how I did it kind of thing, for my props. So yeah, there's that. But anyway, that is theghostess.com. I'll link it below if you're interested in checking that out. So yeah, good times. But I'm feeling pretty creative. But I really am wondering, why the heck is it that if you go for so long without, I mean, I can still ride a bike, why can't I draw? I don't get it. It's not like I'm not physically able to, like my hands still work. But it is what it is. Anyway, I just thought I would give y'all a little bit of chuckle at my very, very 4 to 5 year old funny scribblings in my notebook. Y'all have a great weekend. Either go outside or create something, but do something. Y'all have a great day.